Hi everyone, welcome. How's everyone doing? How's it going? I don't know, English is not working for me today. How is everyone this fine Thursday morning on the East Coast? Yeah, cool. So today, we're gonna look at SlotFill stuff. So if you've ever heard me talk about anything, you've most likely heard me talk about SlotFill at some point, because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a thing that I talk about nonstop. If Terrence was here, he'd probably be laughing right now, laughing at me and with me, both. Anyways, if you're new to my stream, please drop a little wave in the chat so I can say hey and welcome you, because all are welcome. Yeah, cool. So today, like I said, we're gonna go through some slots. So I have a repo that I've been repurposing for about a bajillion different things, and it's available right here. And this is a repo that we're gonna be looking at today. So this repo basically shows you how to work with all of the existing slots. SlotFill, slots in the SlotFill system. So if you're not sure what that is, I will explain it. Basically, a slot is a location. So you have a slot and then there's a fill, and these things are connected. I'm not explaining this very well. Let me back up. So there is maybe I can show you the slides. What do we got in here? What do we got going on in here? So essentially what we have is we have these two components. One's called slot and one's called fill. Slot is put somewhere inside a UI. So in the block editor, there's a number of them, and I'll show you where they all are. And the site editor, there's a few as well. And then what we do as extenders, as people who are creating code for this system, is we register a fill. And that fill is then basically magically taken from a specific place and put into that location. So if you're familiar with like the actions system in WordPress, like the specifically like the hook system, so specifically an action appears in a very specific place. So if you wanted to insert something into that place, you would use add action, the name of the place, the function, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of how this works. It's very high level. I have a graphic somewhere that I did. Actually, I did a whole talk on this last month, not even last month, a few weeks ago, for developer hours, which is now on WordPress.tv, I think, which we can look at. TV. Or it might even be on the YouTube WordPress YouTube channel. So I'm just gonna Google myself here. Is it in here? Yeah, exploring extensibility. So this is the one. I'm not gonna make you sit through it, but I talk about SlotFill. Nick Diego talks about some other cool stuff, specifically extending like block support stuff on client-side filters. So you can get a bit more of a deep dive into that. There's also, if you go to my YouTube channel, which I think is here, YouTube. Yeah, so go there. There's a past appearances playlist, and there's something for WordCamp US where I did a whole talk on this, basically. All right, cool. Chat's pretty quiet today. Are you all bots? Is everyone just botting it up today? What's happening? Where's my Corey? Where's my Kevin? Where's my, I feel so alone. All right, enough of the shenanigans. Oh, waking up. Lunch meat. Is that supposed to be lunch meat? Because I love that. Lunch meat, first time chat. Thanks for chatting with me. That's awesome. And Mechanic is lurking some. Thanks everyone. It's all right. I'm very needy when my chat is empty, and I need y'all to say hi, or I feel like I'm talking into the void, and that makes me awkward. More awkward. Cool, awesome. All right, so that's the repo. So if you want to check it out, you can. I just pushed some changes up to make things a little bit cooler. I am also playing around with WP Now. If you've never heard, or I'm sure people have heard of this, but WP Now is sort of like a new, I'm sure you've heard of the WordPress Playground, which is sort of like a WASM-based WordPress install that runs right in your browser. So this is sort of a package version. This uses that to be able to install it as a dependency for your project. So it could be considered a replacement for WP ENV. So I was using WP ENV on this system. I still actually, sorry, on this repo, I still have it installed there. So it is available here, but I'm also playing around with this. So I've just installed it, and now I should be able to say npm run WP now, and I'll just start, and this should give me a working WordPress install, and that's my WordPress install, which is so cool. What was I going to show you a link. I think I've shared all the links. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do in here. There's a whole bunch of information here, but it's pretty handy dandy. So now I should have a WordPress install. I should have probably an active plugin. If I go to my plugins, it should just automatically find my plugin. Where is it? There it is. It didn't activate it, but I will activate it. So what this plugin, get out of here. I don't need that. I don't need that. This gets auto installed by the system here. So you're gonna want to keep that. But other than that, so now let's take a look at some of the slots. So we've got a bunch of slots available to us. I think there's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 in the edit screen, the post edit screen. And there are 3 in the site edit screen. Now, some of them are experimental, and you know how it is with experimental. You shouldn't really use them, but I have some examples here. So, yeah, so if you install that plugin, let me just get this thing running. So I have that thing going. I'm going to just open up a new one of these, and I'm going to say npm start. We're just going to just build everything. So that's just going to run in the background. I'm just going to hide these things, and then so now we should be able to say come into a post screen. And is this zoomed in enough? No, not at all. Edit this, and you'll see a bunch of avocados in various places. Maybe I should go into full screen here. Full screen. So you'll see I've got an avocado up here. I've got an avocado here. I've got an avocado over here. I've got a bunch of avocados here. I think if I click on, oh, that is the thing. So I got some avocados here. Where else? Do I have more avocados? Right. So there's one here, and there's one here. There's no avocado there, which is weird. So we'll have to figure that out. Anyhow, and what is this thing? Oh, I know what that one is. That's my fancy one. That's a more custom thing. And then I think I even have dashboard. Do I have my dashboard widget? Oh, I do. So this is something else that we'll talk about, but this is a custom SlotFill system and that's my favorite GIF on the entire internet. And yes, it is pronounced GIF. This is a custom SlotFill system that I built and injected here. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, cool. So let's go through some of these. So the first one that we're gonna talk about is plugin post status info. So the documentation for that is here. I'll drop that in the old chatteroo here. And it shows you basically where this appears. So in my example, if we go to a post, all posts, we edit here, that appears here. Sorry, that appears right here. Now let's take a look at the code for that. So let's look. We got this repo's got a lot of stuff going on, but we're gonna go for available slots. And inside of available slots, I'm gonna zoom that in. Edit post, we can look for what is it? There you go, plugin post status, pardon me, info. So if we look at this, it's pretty straightforward how you have to work with the SlotFill system. Let me run a poll because I'm assuming a lot here. I'm going to do a new poll. I know what the SlotFill is, no need to explain. All right, so we're gonna do this, and Okay, so this poll I'm putting up here is basically, I want you to tell me if you understand how the SlotFill system works, and we're just going to go through the existing slots that are available to us, or should I explain sort of like the details of how it all works? Because I'm happy to do both. But you tell me. We'll let that thing run for a few minutes there. And cool. All right. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep explaining these things, and then we'll go back and I'll do a deep dive. So, so basically, every slot needs to have a plugin registered. So we import from the register plugin. Sorry, we import register plugin from the WordPress plugins package, and then we're going to need to get the slot that we actually want to target. So this is the slot name, if you will, and then anything that goes inside of these slots is what's rendered. So you see we've got this post status info slot fill thing in here wrapped inside of a paragraph tag. If we look over here, that's what we have. So if I were to change this to Kevin, where is Kevin, save that, refresh it, we should get that changed. So you can put anything you want in here. That's interesting. Did that just change the order of stuff? Huh, yeah, anyways. So that's weird, because this little doodad here is also injected by a SlotFill internally. Nothing to do with what I'm doing. So you can put anything you want in there. If you want to put a component, you can put a component. So I'm just gonna put that back because we know where Kevin is. He's off somewhere being amazing. Yeah, so register plugin can take it basically takes two property. I think there's a third property in there too now. It has a render property, and the render property is a component. That's the component that's going to get rendered. It's got an icon. This is optional. Not all slots actually support the icon. So for example, like these ones all have an icon. This has got a little icon. If I open this up, these have icons. But if you notice, this one does not have an icon associated with it, which makes sense because you wouldn't really put an icon in there. And then the custom panel also doesn't. It used to support an icon, but they pulled it out because, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So that's kind of the first one. So we talked about this one. Let's look at the pre-publish panel. So if I were to create a new post, you would get this little zoom in, this little thing. You get this down here. So let's see what that looks like. So if I come out of my full screen mode and I create a post. Yeah, I'll call this one. What is this? Post or pre-publish panel? Pre-publish test. Right. Blah, 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 hit publish. You see, I get this thing down here. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Okay. So this has a custom panel with an icon, which you can put in here in this particular case, and then that's the content. So we can look at that, what that looks like here. So what is that? Pre-publish panel in here. It's very, very similar. We call register plugin. We have to give it a unique name. This is sort of like a namespace, a unique thing, name for our plugin, because they all can't be. There's a behind the scenes array that kind of sits out there in the ether that where all of these are stored, and then we pull in our plugin pre-publish panel slot. A lot of them take various props, and then we put our content inside of that. So and then here's the icon that we defined, and then that appears there. So oops. So the next one is the post publish panel, which you guessed it, you see after you publish a post. So if I publish this post now, you'll see I've got the post publish panel, which is hard to say a bunch of times. This is it's basically the same, just shows in two different places. Now the thing to keep in mind is that these slots can actually be turned off. If you uncheck this, you can't see that. If you uncheck down here or in your preferences, I think you can turn this off, include pre-published checklist. So if you turn that off, that pre-published panel doesn't appear anymore. So keep that in mind, because I used to use that for like a pre-published checklist, like a literal, you don't have enough words, so you can't publish, but you can just turn that off and do it anyways. So yeah, that's something just to keep in mind. Cool. The next one, post-publish panel we talked about, plugin more menu item. So this appears under plugins. So what do we do here? So what's the example that I have? Okay. All right, cool. So of the, let's see this. Hold on, dude. Of the 3 people that voted, everyone knows about the SlotFills system, so I don't really need to explain the details there. Cool. So let's look. Oh, wait. If I go in here now, oops, I should have under plugins. Which one is that? I gotta look at the. Sorry, I gotta look at the example. Oh, come on, Ryan. Plugin, more menu item. Again, looks pretty straightforward. So this just links out to the. So it's yeah. So it's a link basically, and it links out to the SlotFill reference guide. In our case, again, it accepts an icon, and then we've got plugin sidebar more menu item. Okay, cool. That's sort of that. Well, where am I? What am I doing? So the plugin block settings menu item. Where's this one to show up? Oh, this shows up in the block settings based on, I think, oh, and you can define which blocks. So this is handy if you want to add a control to all blocks or to, is it all blocks? Let's see. That's a good question. I don't actually know if it'll do it to all blocks. Where was that one? Block setting menu item. So in here, if I had a paragraph tag, I should see this in the paragraph block. So let's insert a paragraph block. Here we got this. There it is. That thing. Click that, and it just gets alerted. So I wonder what happens. I'm just curious now. If I just put, what if I just take that off? What happens if I don't have that? Does it just not appear? It does. It appears. I'm going to put like an image block in here, for example. Media library. Oh, I don't have anything. SlotFills. Missed it again. What did you miss, Carolina? You didn't miss anything. We're all good. There's Kevin's face. It always has to be in every WordPress install that I have. What do we got? Okay, so cool. So it looks like if you remove the allowed blocks, it gets applied to all the blocks. But if you add it back in, now what my guess here is that when I refresh this page, that this paragraph block will have the link. It does, and then this image block will not, and it does not. So that's pretty cool. You didn't miss much. We're going through the SlotFill, the available slots, and I have a repo that kind of shows examples and stuff. So it's right there. I threw it in the chat, but yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. So the next one is plugin sidebar. Plugin sidebar is, you've definitely seen this one. Basically, it looks like this. I think this is the plugin sidebar. So you can turn this on and off, right? And that's where your plugin content would go. So let's look at this one. Where is this plugin sidebar? So in here, we got the oh, excuse me. So that's all the stuff that appears inside of it, and this controls. Is it private or something? Something is what the style book. As far as I know, there's no slots. There's no exposed slots in the style book. Let's look at that. Like in the words are not working for me today at home. So if I go here, interesting. That doesn't seem like a good thing. So go on here. So you're talking, get out of here. So you're talking about like this in here. I don't think there's any slots in there. Well, there might be internal slots. That I don't know, but external ones that extenders can get at, I don't think they exist in here yet. Where are you hoping to put that? Like, what are you hoping to? What are you trying to do? And then let's take a look and see if there's something that we can actually figure out. Anyways, leave that in the chat. We'll come back to it because we will come back to it. All right, out of here. So what was the, okay, so the plugin sidebar. So that one's pretty straightforward. It's right up here. The next one is plugin sidebar, more menu items. So this one, I don't know if you necessarily need it, but what it basically does is it puts the more plugin sidebar, the more menu item in the drop down. So this is a little confusing. There's some historical stuff here. So this one is being automatically injected because we're doing the plugin sidebar, right? But this one is, we're adding this one by itself. And what does this one do? So I think it's doing both now. Let's look. What is this? More menu items. So in here, I'm actually, so I take this out. This should just put the more menu item in. So I shouldn't get that. It used to be that you had to have both of them for it to sort of connect. Let me explain that better. So it used to be I don't know what version of WordPress. If you wanted to have the plugin sidebar, you would actually have to do the plugin sidebar, but then you have to actually also add this plugin sidebar more menu items slot as well. I know it's a bit confusing, but you needed both to get this. Now the plugin sidebar has been updated and adds that automatically. But if you just wanted to add another one in here, you could. It seems a little bit redundant on this one. Because what's supposed to happen here is you're supposed to click on, not that one, Ryan, you're supposed to click on it and it's supposed to toggle the, that's the one I'm looking for, that's the one. So you're supposed to be able to click on it and it toggles open and close the sidebar. But this one by itself doesn't do anything. So it's a bit kind of silly on its own. So anyways, that's what that is. So if you want to use the plugin sidebar functionality, just use the plugin sidebar component or slot, and it'll give you everything that you need there. Okay, so we talked about this one. So plugin document setting panel. I love this one. It's probably my favorite because I love it. It appears over here in the, let's get out of full screen. Get out of full screen. Wait, sorry, what? Click on this button. It appears over here. So this is how we inject our own things in here. So pretty straightforward. It doesn't support an icon because none of these have icons associated with them. So it's just not something that is put in there. But if you want to look at how that looks, pretty straightforward. You just put the contents in there. It handles wrapping it inside of a panel body and everything for you. Yeah, so that's all of the ones. Sorry, actually the main dashboard button is the only other one we haven't looked at yet. So this one is experimental, experimental. Oops, lost my page. So this one is definitely experimental. But what it does is it overrides the icon button in the header. So you can see that when you're in full screen mode, this thing. So that just replaces that icon. Basically, and I think, does it actually replace the icon? Let's look. Does it replace the icon and the link? No. So it uses this full screen close, full screen mode close. So that's sort of how that's built. So in the site edit, we have some things as well. Now we were just looking at the site edit. I haven't actually updated this since all of these fantastic changes have happened. So if I just come in here, this is weird that it cannot be rendered. So we'll look at that in a second. But you'll see edit site main dashboard button plugin is encoded. Okay, so we're gonna see what that error is in a second. So there's not that many inside the edit, site edit screen. So we've got plugin more menu item and plugin sidebar. So these work exactly the same as the other ones. The main difference is they get pulled in from a different package. So if we look at, let's look at plugin sidebar. So if we look at this, you can see import plugin sidebar from WordPress edit post. That's in the edit post package. Now in the edit site package, we're pulling it in from the edit site package. So that's, but the code is exactly the same, right? So if we look in our edit site, we should be able to view this. So this is just in the, this is telling us where that is. And then this is also that sort of more menu item that links out to our slot fill. So there's not that many yet. Now there should, now the one that's erroring out should be a replacement here. And let's see why that's not working. So this main dashboard button right here. So this main dashboard button has encountered an error. So let's see what that error is. It's loading. Okay, we're gonna look at the error. Maybe something is no longer experimental. Oh, that's not helpful. So I'm gonna look at this. Inspected a string or a class function for composite components got undefined. Interesting. Okay, well. So I'm gonna look at, I wonder if these are no longer experimental or if they've not been exposed. Let's take a look. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna look for is in the edit site package, we're gonna look for main dashboard. We're gonna look for this experimental main dashboard button. So what we can do is we can go to WP. Wait, I'm gonna have to go to the top level of this. No one can read that. Okay, so I should be able to see edit site. I should see all of the components that appear in edit site. I open this up. Okay. More menu item, plugins, more plugins. Okay. Oh, so there is the sidebar more menu item is also in there. So that's one that I can add as well. That's cool. So it doesn't look like this has been exposed anymore. So that's probably the issue that we're running into. There's been a lot of work to remove sort of the experimental stuff from the built packages that go out. So this one doesn't seem to work. Hey, Corey, how's it going? We're just wrapping. We're just looking at some SlotFills stuff here. So I wonder if that's what it is. Oh, it's all right, Corey. You know, it's not like the rest of us were waiting for you. Scanning, Corey. WP.components. Let's see what's in there. So we should be able to get components, and then we should look for, what was the thing? So, you know what? This is gonna be a lot faster if I do it this way. Oh my God. WP.components. Apparently not everything is being removed. Experiment. What is that function? What is that component I'm looking for? Experimental navigation back button. Experimental navigation. So that's there. So weird. So the edit site does no longer exports this main dashboard button. Let's. Okay. Well, I guess that's what it is. That's a bit confusing. dp.edit site. What we got in there? So we've only got more menu item, plugin sidebar, these things and these things. I guess that's it. Yeah, experimental or exports are your mortal enemy. People who show up late to my stream are my mortal enemy. Let's look. I think that's very weird. Let me look at I'm gonna look at the repo. We're gonna go into packages. We're gonna look at where is it? Edit site. Hello, edit site. And you're gonna see typically what's done is so excuse me. So all of these things are no longer exported. So where? Just kidding, Corey. Oh. What is the thing that I'm looking for? What is this thing called again? It's called experimental main dashboard button. So where the hell is that thing gone now? It's not even in here. Did it get moved? Maybe it got, what if it got moved into a different package? Haha. Let's look. Main dashboard button. That could be the problem. That it actually got moved out there. Edit post. What the hell, man? It's not even. Am I drunk? Am I drunk? Let's look. Main dashboard. So what's this thing? What the deuce? Yeah, what the deuce? It's not from edit site. Is it from edit site? So it's from edit post. Huh. So maybe my code is okay. Let's try this. I bet you my code is just bad, which never happens. It's usually perfect. Like, come on, let's be real. Let's be real, folks. Let's see what that does. Hello. Interesting. What? Okay. I feel like it's maybe not even there anymore. Appearance, editor. I wonder if it just got borked, like just taken out. Because there used to be like a button in here that you would press and it would take you back, but maybe it just doesn't exist anymore. I would imagine, that's my guess here, is that it's actually gone because this doesn't, okay, so that's probably not what we wanted. So this one, I don't even think it works anymore. I don't even think it exists. Look what they did to my boy. Look at how they massacred my boy. Okay, so I guess I gotta take this one out. It doesn't exist anymore, but there is another one in here that I don't have a reference to, and it's the what is it? Plugin sidebar, more menu items. So this one exists as well. Cool. So let's update that. I'm gonna just steal this. Boop. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna pull it out of edit site because that's where that's pulled from. Everything else is good stuff. And I'm going to import this. So this needs to go away because that doesn't exist. Then import. If I spell it right. Okay, more menu item, save. Okay, so we can get rid of this, and let's do that because that's what you gotta call it. And let's do a refresh here. Nope. Where am I? Appearance, editor. Well, I'm so glad I went through all this stuff because this is this breaking now? Have I broken this? Oh, okay. Let me in there. Okay, so yeah, so we got this. We got this. We got this. We got this. We should have 2 in here. We got 3 in here now. That is weird. Okay. So in the more menu item, I think we can just. Oh, we're just gonna get rid of this plugin sidebar because we don't actually need that. We don't need that. We don't need this. This is just an example of that particular one. That's cool. So we lost one and gained one, but the one that we lost honestly was a bit weird. Didn't really do a lot for you, and I'm in my humble opinion. Anywho, so that's that. Okay. So I'm gonna delete this main dashboard one because it just doesn't exist anymore, and so that means I'm also gonna have to edit the ribbon. Oh wow! I don't think I want to deal with that right now. I'm gonna get rid of this one. I'm going to add plugins have one more menu item. The other issue here is this: the ones in the site editor don't really seem. They're not documented. They're not really like documented in a sense of like it's just basically these are just all the ones listed, but it's not documented like where you can find them. And this is going to be more and more important as we sort of grow screens and stuff like that, right? Add more screens is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that is all of the available slots. If you want to, yeah. So there's a bunch. Now, my question for you, chat, do you want to look at custom stuff, or do we want to look and see if we can see if what Carolina is talking about, to see if we can extend the style book with slots. Carolina, can you tell me what you're talking about with, I see that WooCommerce adds blocks there. My guess is that it would just pick up any custom blocks that are there, wouldn't it? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that pick up all registered blocks? Anyways, You tell me what you're thinking here. So what do you think, chat? What should we do? What should we do? Fine, we're gonna look at custom stuff. Dead air is the bane of my existence. That's my mortal enemy, actually. So we're gonna look at some custom slots. So there's a bunch of custom slots that we can mess around with. So in this component, or in this project, I got this custom slots example. So when you build a slot, you can have a varying ways of structuring these stuff, right? So we can let's look at each one of these. So we have this sort of, okay, so all I've done here is I've created a settings screen. That's it. It's nice and simple, and it's going to show you just how silly a lot of this stuff is. These examples are silly, but it's meant to show the examples. So let's look at a very basic slot fill system. No, my own custom blocks are not showing up in the style book. Huh, okay. Okay, now I am on a tangent. Where did I go? Okay, so let's look at, it's okay. No. I want to look. Style book. So index. Let's look here. So this is the iframe style. Examples, headings, examples. Oh, yeah, that's probably it, actually. I think that is most likely it, because it needs examples to show examples. Let's test that theory, actually. Let's look. Okay, so if we look in the editor and we look at the home page, or click, just wait for this stinking thing to load. Go to the home page, go to the style book, right? So let's look at, okay, so here's the paragraph, right? So now let's go. Do I have a post open somewhere? No, I'm just gonna, oh, come on. What? So if I edit this post and I go to up here, I go paragraph. Yeah. So the heading, the paragraph, and the heading say Kev. It looks like it takes the examples from because that paragraph example and those heading examples is the same as what we just saw. So that's a really good point, Corey. Thanks for adding that. You're awesome. So Carolina, take a look at that and let me know if that's actually the thing, the issue, if you will. If not, we can definitely take a look. Anyways, back to custom slot fill examples. We're gonna do some simple examples. This is not, so I have a stream in 2 weeks where we're gonna look at trying to extend a custom code base with slot fill. So that's not what this is going to be, but this is sort of like the primer to that, I guess, if you will. So look at the code. So in here we've got some basic slots. So what we need to do is we're going to import fill and slot from the WordPress components, and then and so the way this works is you have a slot that's added somewhere inside your code base, somewhere. And then you need to register your fill, and that fill will be detected by the slot fill system and its contents rendered wherever that slot is. So if we look at, so we have this super basic slot here, right? This is actually not being used, but in the settings page, we have this thing right here. You see that? So the slot name is called basic slot. When we register our plugin, the target name, the name of the fill. This is basically the name of the slot that we're targeting. That's kind of how that is, right? And so this stuff will be rendered wherever basic slot fill is. So if we look at our settings screen markup, we've got our panel and our panel body, and then panel row, and then the slots right there. So inside of that basic slot, we should see this text will appear wherever the basic slot is rendered. So if we come back over here, that's exactly what happens. All right. So that's the most basic type of slot fill. You know. So that's super raw. actually is a better way of saying it. Now there is a sort of a more basic way of doing it. Basic being like this is how you'd probably see core do it more. So we're going to import create slot fill from components, and this is sort of like a helper. And then we're going to pass it the name of our slot fill, which is going to be basic create slot fill. It's going to return fill and slot to us, and then we're going to create, and then we're going to create a component, and we're going to call it basic. Man, all this pop-ups, basic create slot fill. Now the sort of the best practice here is to name. Phone just called me. So we're gonna basically want to name the slot and keep the component the same, and then inside of here it gets past children. We're gonna take the fill prop or the fill component that's returned from create slot fill. I do have a few talks on slot fill already. Nothing's really new. Kev is bored. Kev is bored. Well, show up late, Kev. Yeah, there's nothing too new about this, but this one, I wanted to go over this one and talk about the custom stuff because there's a real focus on extensibility going on right now, and this is sort of the primer to that and how we can kind of use slot fill to our advantages as extenders. Feels like a stream sponsored by SlotFills. It is a stream spot. Kevin, you don't have to watch it. Ugh. Anyways, so yeah, so then we're gonna take our fill and we're gonna wrap the children or the components of the things, right? And then we're gonna basically export that down here at the bottom. Right? So the way that looks is we have this, and so when we expose it, we're gonna import the name of our component, and we're gonna expose the .slot property like this. And then in our basic create slot fill somewhere in here, I don't even know where am I registering that plugin? Oh, in here. We're gonna basically just do that. Oh, sorry, Kev. Let me reconnect those. I feel like Kevin is disappointed now the stream's falling off the rails. Kevin.
Kevin!
Oh, did my sound die or something? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, cool. So we can get into some more cool. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Kev. Kev says we can continue. Okay, so now this one's kind of cool. So there's this thing called fill props, and what fill props allows you to do is expose the slot, but then give any fills that will be displayed there some properties of some form. So this could be really important. Like this could be really really useful. For example, if you had something that was user based. So like if you wanted to have a username that which you wouldn't have available to you, but you could pass that to your fills, and you can do with what, or like capability levels, or whatever you wanted to do. So this is pretty. It can be pretty handy. Or if you had settings for say like a block, and you wanted to have a slot fill that could use that setting somehow, you would pass it through fill props. So we can look at fill props like this. So basically, it's pretty much the same. You don't do much when you define the slot, but we're doing the same thing. We're importing create slot fill. We're creating a slot fill and destructuring the fill in the slot, and then we're doing our we're defining our slot, our fills here. So it gets its children, renders children inside the fill. We're assigning the .slot property to the slot, so on and so forth, right? And then when we get when we deal with the fill props, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna import our slot fill props, and then it takes a function, and the function gets passed props, and then you can do whatever you want with those props, whatever you want to do, and it looks like this. So I was passed fill props, and the message is hello slots, right? So we can see the message comes from props.message, and that is passed message hello slots. Yep. That's it. That's all you do for that. Pretty straightforward stuff. So now you can get into some pretty cool things where you have a customized slot structure, meaning that if your fill does very specific things, like this example is going to be, that's kind of a weird example, but let's look. So customized, what is that one? Slot structure, customized slot structure. So if we look at the way it works, so we're gonna do the thing the same way that we did, right? For this reason, but we're gonna call this. So we're customizing the slot. So the slot is the wrapper for all the fills. So we have to build this out a slightly different way. So we're going to just use fill. Normally, what we're gonna take our slot property. It's going to get a series of fills. So it takes a function, it gets all the fills, and then we're gonna, it fills that length. Then we're gonna wrap all the fills in a code element. So random example, right? Otherwise, we'll just return null and it won't do anything. So if we look at the way that the plugin implements that, we're gonna where'd that thing go? So this is just going to be rendered inside of a code tag. That's exactly what happens. This renders out of a code tag. So fill structure, you can do kind of the same thing. Customized fill structure, we can look at what that looks like. I can't even remember what this fill structure is. So, okay, so we're gonna take whatever gets passed to it and we're gonna wrap it inside of a button. So it's a bit forced, and that could break all kinds of things. But in our plugins, which I need to keep, we've added 3 fills, and this is just creating 3 buttons inside of that panel. So the other thing that you can do is you can customize both. Where's that? Right in here. So we can customize both. So in this case, we're going to build a unordered list. So we're going to customize our fill by wrapping each child, all of its, the children of the fill will be wrapped inside of an li tag. The slot will look for fills, and if it's got fills, we'll basically wrap all the fills inside of a UL, and that's how we are going to build out an unordered list. It's a really complicated way of building out an unordered list, but you can see the flexibility there, the strength there. So some of the examples that actually you use this stuff is, for example, the panel here, this custom panel. So this custom panel actually, it customizes the fill structure by wrapping it inside of a document, like inside of a panel body, and doing all of that stuff and adding all those things. So you as the extender don't have to worry about doing all of that stuff, which is pretty cool. So that's some custom slots. So you can do things with, there's other ways that you can also extend. So there's this really great example by Mamaduka, where he's using React portals to add a button up here. Like there's no slot fill up here, right here where this little thing is, right? But he's using portals to inject that, which is really cool. And that's in there as well. Thinking with portals. Thinking with portals. I don't know what that means, but it sounds smart. The other thing, so you can also I've created a completely custom slot fill system. Well, I shouldn't say slot fill system. I'm using the existing components that make up the slot fill system to create this thing, this dashboard widget, which does nothing. It just contains the funniest gift from the internet. So this is like, so if you wanted to do something in here where you have, you can do a million things, and you can put charts in here, you can do all kinds of stuff, but it's, the code for that all lives here. So what we're going to do is, let me just see. Should I go through this? Guess I'll go through this. So the first thing that we're doing is in the plugin here, we're gonna enqueue the block editor assets. What is this? Okay, go. So we're gonna, in our dashboard, we're gonna register our own dashboard widget. I'm just gonna put just that in there. It's just a React app, right? And then basically I'm in the admin enq hook. I'm looking for I think the index.php is actually the dashboard widget. So I'm going to enqueue all those things. I'm localizing a script for some reason. Oh, user display name, which I don't even think I'm using anymore. But yeah, and then so that gets this renders out basically, and this is just a React app. So then this thing is going to look for render. It's going to render it inside the dashboard widget, which this is all it's doing. So there's two really important parts to a SlotFill system. Well, there's a bunch, but the first one is SlotFill provider. Everything needs to be wrapped in that because that's how it knows where slots and fills are and how to connect them. And then this is us exposing that single slot that we've made, which I think I do somewhere. I don't know where am I pulling that in from? Dashboard widget. Oh yeah, here. So we can look at this. So we're customizing our fill for a section, putting each thing in there in a div, and then this is we're using compose. This is how you can give it an icon or use the icon that's provided to it. And then where'd that go? Oh crap. And then so that's been exposed, and then the next most important part is this thing, the plugin area. So the plugin area, now you're thinking of portals. The plugin area is where all the fills are rendered. Actually, they get rendered inside the plugin area, but the plugin area is hidden, and then the SlotFill provider checks the plugin area. Well, basically detects all fills and then puts them in the right slot. That's how that's working. And then the Bearded Wonder is literally just this is just ugly, so just shut up. It's not the right way of doing it, I know, but whatever. So it's just putting a GIF in there, and then and that's it. That's all it is. And then that thing just runs forever because it's amazingly funny. So that is essentially my WordCamp US talk and my WordCamp Europe lightning talk and a bunch of other stuff. So are there any questions about SlotFill? Anything that anyone wants to talk about while I let this GIF run in the background? Caroline, I'm awesome I'm awesome. That's not what I meant to say. It's awesome that you that we figured that out. So that's very cool. Very, 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 very cool. So Kevin, do you have any questions? Or are you just gonna judge me on my topic choice again? Cool. Well, we're pretty early. So what I'm thinking of doing for the next week is my advanced query loop plugin, which I'm going to shamelessly pitch here. Here's right here. I've been getting some, I don't know, maybe requests. Like, I've been getting some requests and stuff about like ACF. So what I was thinking of doing was, I haven't tried this yet, I was hoping I was going to be able to. Are there SlotFills for the new command palette feature? No, not that I know of. Let's look. Actually, before I say just no, let's look. My guess is probably not. Because the SlotFill is more about UI, right? Let's look. What's the thing called? Commands. So let's look at index. Let's see. I'm gonna say nope. I'm gonna say there's probably nothing exposed there. There's probably very little in the way of. Yeah, there's no SlotFills being created. So yeah, like the command palette, if we look at it, is it in here? Let's go. Oh my God, what is this? What happened? What happened, man? Okay, out of memory. Oh God. Okay. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna do something here. This is ridiculous. So I've run into problems like this before with WP Now. They use hooks in a plugin. When would you choose hooks over SlotFill? Yeah, I bet Beardy did crash the site. CD-WP Now. Can I just do some code inception here. All right. So WP Now, this is a bit of a, so I've run into issues here where I've had like WP Now basically fail on me a couple of times, and I don't really know why. So some things I have been able to fix by just simply deleting this. I'm going to just stop this, and I'm going to run it again. And what it's going to do is download the latest version, and then hopefully that fixes. It does. Okay, it does. I think it does. It seems to fix it. Okay, so that's how I fix it. I just basically delete the thing and then go away. So they use hooks in a plugin. When would you use hooks over SlotFill? Well, talking about the JavaScript hooks. Are you talking about like the PHP hooks first of all? Because they're anyway. It doesn't. They're both kind of the same. What is it? What is this one? That can go away. So SlotFill is very specific to a location. So you're not like, unless you want to inject something in a particular place where there's a SlotFill exposed, SlotFill is not going to be much use to you in the existing UI. If that helps. But like hooks are like, so when you want to use a hook, you use hooks to like filter block properties, for example. So you can use, there's a number of block hooks that are available where you can sort of like, you know, add extra properties or attributes or whatever to the block or mess with stuff like that. They're kind of, usually hooks are more about like it depends on what you're doing. That's the short answer, I think, and that's not really a good answer. Apply filters could be used with a component too. Yeah, I guess it's more useful to allow someone to remove it. Yeah, so apply filters would allow you to, you know, say if you had an array of components, you could have someone filter out one of those components. One of the drawbacks, well, not drawbacks, one of the limitations with the SlotFill system is that there's no way of doing that. There's no way, like you can unregister a plugin that introduces some slots, some fills, I mean. You can absolutely do it, but it's not sort of an easy job. Oh, I should say it's not an easy job. So for example, I'm registering a plugin. What am I registering a plugin? Pardon me. In my examples here, I am calling register plugin, and I'm creating one gigantic, basically render component with all of these fills in it. So I could, so register plugin is part of the plugins package, which so what are we doing here? So the plugins API, right? So there is an unregistered plugin call. And so what you do is you would call unregistered plugin and then the name of and then the name of the plugin that's been registered. The thing to keep in mind though is you can't say for this plugin that's been registered, I only want to remove an inherited icon slot. You can't do that. You're going to remove all the slots. Sorry, all the fills that have been registered with that plugin. So you can do it, but it's kind of like a sledgehammer approach. There's no way of like filtering what's in here, unfortunately. So like a good best practice would be to have one fill per plugin, but then you're gonna have a ton of plugins registered if you have a lot of fills, right? Yes. I guess that's the short way of saying that. Yes, you can remove the plugin, but not the... Well, by removing the plugin, you remove the fills. You just can't selectively remove fills inside a plugin. That's the nuance there. Right? Like if I unregister this, all of these things go away. Does that make sense? Like I can't just say get rid of this one fill that's inside that plugin. It'd be awesome if you could. And I've done some stuff. When I was at 10up, we built some sort of blocks that were extendable where we did some stuff like that. And I bet it wasn't super performant, but basically all the components were passed through a filter, and then you could go in and filter them out by like a key. Yeah, well, I mean, it is technically a plugin. You're plugging in code. So I get what you're saying, though. It should be maybe register slots or register fills, I think, you know. Yeah, have you ever seen the word template? Yeah, or variation. Oh my God, how many different types of variations do we have now? It's crazy. It's crazy how many variations we have. Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of because the property of your copy. I don't have a WordCamp US talk. Well, yeah, you can add fills, but the thing is you're limited by where you can add them. That's the thing. You can't just add slots. Slots need to be exposed. And I'm also not speaking. Oh no, sorry. I did this talk last year at WordCamp US. Yes. That being said, I do have a pull request that, if you're interested, that adds a new slot fill to the toolbar. I'm just gonna put this in here. you could just go watch it on YouTube as well. So this is gonna add. This would hopefully add a header slot, a slot right there. So if you like it, go and upvote it so we can get that in there. It's ready to go. It just needs a approval to be merged because the code all passes and everything. So yeah, so that hopefully will add a new one, and then we can add it to the site editor as well, and it'll be all good. But we'll see. I don't know. So yeah, we broke. Yeah, no, I know. Did you do it with portals, Kev? Wait, no, it wasn't you that I was thinking of. Sorry, I was thinking of the AMP plugin. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are doing that. And so here's a bit of WordPress history. So you know how we have like actions, the actions API, like on the PHP side. A lot of those came from people hacking the crap out of core and putting things in there, and that's where we put them. So, I mean, you put it in there. I know the AMP plugin put one in there. Like, there's a need. People need this one. So, Kev, it would actually help me out immensely if you commented on that, just saying how that, you know, that if this would help you with what you're doing. Good luck. I'm currently following the PR about being able to add your own icons to the social links block. That's taking years. Corey, can you link that PR? That seems like a... I would love to understand why people don't want you to add your own icons to the social links block. That doesn't make any sense. I'd like to read about that. Twitch. Oh, who is? That's a core issue, like WordPress core. What is this? Extend. Okay. Oh, uploading SVG. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, uploading SVG is an issue. That side of core. So SVG is definitely a concern when it comes for some security stuff. Because you could technically upload an SVG that's got like a bit miner in it. Like you can do all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah, so exposing the markup of the SVG, I guess. I'll have to read through this, but I know that SVG can be a bit of an attack vector in some cases. But I don't know. That'd be cool. Why don't you just build a block and have it only be insertable to the social icons link? Is that a possibility? You first during block variation? I wonder if you can just do that. It should be easier then. Yeah, it probably should, but you're where you're at though. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to add variations to the social link block. Well, you can, can't you? You can, but it doesn't actually work. Okay. Maybe it doesn't work. Not that I don't believe you. I'm just flabbergasted that a block variation for a block doesn't work. Isn't that how they're doing them? I don't know. I don't know. No, it's okay. I get it. Use service. What is all this stuff? Oh. Oh. Is checking for a specific hard-coded list. Why do they do that? Nothing drives me more crazy. I mean, I love and respect to all the people that work on WordPress, Gutenberg, the PHP side, whatever. But hard coding stuff, really? Come on. If you're gonna hard code it, at least wrap it in a filter. It drives me nuts because then you get into these epic conversations. Anyways, it's enough of my rant, enough of my complaining. But yeah, going not that thing. Going. Let's get my. I saw that it does. So the concern is that there is the exposing of the SVG, which means that you could technically take all the SVGs and then inject malicious stuff into them. I'm assuming is what the problem, what they're worried about, something along those lines. I don't know. I'll have to read it. Oh man. All right. Ridiculous. Oh yeah. So WP Now is what I was using. So you can do some cool things with WP Now. Like you can actually set up the version, the PHP version that you want, the WordPress version. No one can read that. Nobody can read that. There are some things I don't know how to set up. Ryan's getting frustrated. Yeah, I am getting frustrated. If you've forgotten that far, you can just inject most of the HTML. Why is SVG encode an issue? Well, I mean, but the thing about, I think the difference is, I don't know, can you check, like, what happens if you pass SVG through, like, WP, like, kisses? Like, I don't know what happens there. And I'm just talking out of my ass mostly at this point. But I'm wondering if, like, it doesn't get checked before it gets used, right? Yeah, I mean, I've enabled SVG upload on sites and stuff like that. I think it's just because it's core, people are, needs to allow HTML position. I see what you mean. Like, so yeah, like, if we can put in, you can put script tags inside of all the HTML that's being filtered, but at the end of the day, it's being escaped at some point, right? Like, usually late escaped, at the point where it's used, it's getting escaped. And I don't know if you can do that with SVG. I just don't know. Maybe the filters aren't, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what I'm talking about. Now, what's cut? These needs to allow HTML permission. Yeah. So yeah, save this would let you add a block, which is when the server side. So no version. Let you upload SVGs as a block, which is run server side. Yeah. I think the thing that the issue that you're running into though is all these plugins allow it, but the WordPress itself is never going to allow something that's knowingly insecure. If you as the user or the extender want to write something that has some stuff, right? Like, it's just never going to go into core in that way. Maybe there's another way of doing it. Maybe there's you know, a library that can be added that checks SVGs for, you know, bad actors or whatever. I don't know, but that's just what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm kind of out of things to talk about right now. I feel like this was a disappointing stream for some people whose name rhymes with Revan, but yeah, probably they might. They may well. I can check out your new site. Yeah, sure. What's your new site? Throw a link up in your site there. We'll take a look. We'll critique it. Kevin wanted me to talk about the command palette API, which I will, but not today. I think I'm going to do a whole thing on it. I'd like to let's do a full stream on. Oh, hello. Summon me. What does that do? Oh, that's cool. Nice. So this is full block theme. This is great. Yeah, no, I'm just giving you a hard time, Kev. I like the background. This is cool, man. I like this. It's nice. It's nice. How about me? Host in the loop. Oh, I like the subtle little animations that were happening there. Very cool. I like. So yeah, it's nice. It's good stuff. Oh, I'm not hearing anything coming out of my computer. Is there? Ugh. There's supposed to be music playing, or am I just not hearing it? All right. No, there's no music. Okay, so I'm not. My phone. I have these headphones and I love them, but the thing that drives me absolutely crazy is when my phone rings, it takes over my headphones, so I can't hear anything, and then I don't hear anything coming. Let's check. Kevin! Oh, there, I heard that. There we go. Menu pauses the animation. Nice. Does it do anything to check for like bandwidth or anything? Just like if you were on like a slower device, would it just turn the animation off in the background and everything? This is great. I really like this. Yeah. Well, looks like we got some work for you there, Corey. Titus is gonna hire you. Nice. All right, enough of this. Prefers reduced motion. That's cool. That's awesome. I need to do more stuff. I just spend all my time yelling at Kevin in live streams. I'm gonna write some cool things, but yeah, cool. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to do? I often you assume I didn't. These guys are fighting. You're fighting. Does my theme thing still work? Let's try. Theme random. Yep. Looks like it worked. That was so boring. Line 50. Okay. Line 50. Cool. All right. So that's an introduction to slots. I think we're done. Folks, how'd you do the shape of the footer? What is the footer? Where is it? I gotta look at it again. The shape of the footer. Oh, this thing. Oh, that's nice. Carolina thinks your site's ugly, Corey. Just kidding. Yeah. Let's do another one. Let's see what this does. Oh, no thanks. That's horrible. That's boring. You know what? I'm just gonna set my theme back. Color theme. Shades of purple. Put that back. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, you know what? Oh, who did that? Kev. I don't. This is a horrible theme. This looks horrible. Horrible. I can't even read it. Oh, makes my brain hurt. What's the one? Terrence did add one. It was like hot dog or something. Is it hot dog? No, that's not it. What is it? Oh my god. So many. Hot dog stand. This is the worst one. Stand. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, too many themes. I have to give rid of some. Well, there's a... Oh god, sorry, I have to get rid of this. This is horrible. I'll let you guys just do it. Barbie Rave. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah. Well, actually, the extension has an option to allow themes to be installed, and I've turned that off. So I have to approve the installation of a theme. So where's the Oppenheimer Rave theme? There's an Oppenheimer Rave theme. Oh. Oppenheimer. Try to run it, and I'll allow the install. I'll allow it. Yep, there you go. Kawaii theme. Oh, I'm noticing I have some old code in here. Oh, okay. I don't get humor. All right, well, it's been fun. It's been great. Unless I think I'm gonna call it 15 minutes early today. Next week we're gonna be going over 16.2. I think 16.2 was released yesterday. Now, interactivity API stuff is super cool. I think it's part of Gutenberg 16.2. It's not like ready yet, but I think we can start playing around with it in the next couple of versions. So I'm pretty excited. Oh, variable fonts, nice. There's a couple. I think we can start do a link cover. Oh, nice. That is cool. All these animations. I wish I was a good developer. I could do this stuff. I just don't have I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Let's be clear. I was never a good developer when I was doing it full time, but I faked it real well. I like the blur on the image. That's cool. Oh, shut your face. You're the best developer. You guys suck. Shut up. Make me shut up. Sarcasm. Just taste the sarcasm off you, Kev. I'm an ACF pro, and I'm also the best at header design. I don't know if you knew that. Not everyone can kill on the front. Yeah, especially not this guy. Especially not this guy. This is cool though. I like this stuff. The blurry, the stuff, and the stuff, and the bouncing. The bouncing's nice. Oh, you did do a Threads. Corey's on. Is everyone else on Threads? I'm on Threads somewhere. I think I'm under Ryan Welcher Codes. I've not put any content up there. There I am. That's it. That's me. There we go. I think I have 5 people following me. Does anyone know if there's an API for Threads? Because I'd like to post stuff when I go live and crap like that. I haven't been able. Oh, that's right. It's not in Europe yet. Huh. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's delayed in Europe for whatever reason. Oh, you get all this, like, look at you. People in their adoption stuff. What's this, Frederick? You might be able to do more with it. Yeah. It'd be cool to have a little API or like a Zap for it, or Zapier, or what else calling it. Titus and Atlantis. I think ACF is super powerful. I really do. But I think that I'd love to see it, I'd like to see it more in line with core, right? And like I said, so my advanced query loop block, I'm going to try to add some stuff so we can actually use ACF with it, right? Nice. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't really used a lot of ACF. When I was at 10up, we didn't use a lot of sort of framework style plugins. Everything we wrote was very bespoke, and so we never really got to use things like that. You know, I think we used Field Manager, which I guess is sort of a version of that. But I think Field Manager was also like written by like people at 10up and stuff like that. But even that was a little bit. You're very baked into it. Custom dynamic blocks. There you go. There you go. Corey, how did you pull the meta? Like, were you able just to get access to the meta, or you have to do it all? Okay, Gutenblarg. That's for you. I love Gutenblarg. What's your question, Titus? Lay it on me, brother. Gutenblarg. I loved it. I love Corey. I love that you went with ACF, but then used dynamic blocks. Is there any way to do a bloody meta query? Yes, there is. You have to install my plugin though. Like in what context? Like you want to do a meta query? What, like in the query loop block, or like where? How do you want to? Give me details. Give me the deets. So you're telling me I'm talking too much. I accept that. They are notoriously slow. If you're going to do meta queries, you're going to want to turn off a lot of things. Okay. Okay, so okay, so I don't think, I don't think there are, so I found this when I was working with on my, I'm gonna link this block. I'm gonna link this is a plugin that you can use. So this is a query loop block, and I do add some meta stuff in there. Now, sort of the order by stuff on the JavaScript side is not great. So you can't. So you want to order by, so you have a meta field. Okay, so you're going to need to filter that. So behind the scenes, the order by, there's only a certain amount of order by properties that are accepted, are sort of available, right? So you and you need to filter those. So you can filter those. You can see what those are here. Wait, is this the right place? Collection pros. What am I doing? What? So the long and short of it is I had to add more order by properties, right? Because this is essentially what I'm doing. So you need to add those to have them be available for the endpoint, the REST endpoint. So the problem that you're having is that the REST endpoint doesn't support ordering by a meta field, right? Which is what I'm adding here. So you can add those in. You can do that because I'm quite literally, you know what? Just go get my plugin and take a look. I'm not, you don't have to use it. I just mean, you can this thing, why am I doing it this way? I'm just going to show you. My advanced query loop plugin allows you to sort by post meta, and you can literally pick date. Yeah, so I dropped it a couple times in there to the GitHub, but I will link it here. So you can just go install that right now, and it's a query loop variation. So it's a query loop block. You install that. You can pick. You can date query. You can say query items before a date, after date, or between two dates. Post order controls. You can do date, last modified date. You can do all that sort of stuff. But if you want to keep it, you don't have to use this. You can just steal the code from it too. It's completely up to you. But in order to be able to sort by post meta, you're going to have to extend what the REST API handles. Now, Kev's got a good point. Post meta queries can be very, very expensive, right? So yeah, 100 installs, nice. So you need to be careful, but you've been doing WordPress for a long time. I think you're from Ottawa, right? I'm pretty sure that we met. You were doing a lot of Drupal stuff. Anyways, so you know what you're talking. So you know what you're doing. Well, anytime you're querying by meta, it's inherently expensive, but you can deal with that, right? So there's a couple of things that you can do. You can turn off like the meta field caching. You can query for IDs only. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do to kind of make that work a little faster. But yeah, I think you were part of the WordCamp, the Ottawa meetup group that I was part of when I was living there. And yeah, anyways, I'm sure we've met. And if you're the person I think you are, you certainly know plenty. I don't need to tell you about querying. But yeah, so take a look at this. You're welcome to steal the code or just use this thing with whatever you want to do. Yeah, and let me know if this doesn't solve your problem, because I can add to it. Or if you want to do a pull request, I'd love to see that too. Awesome. Saw a plugin to do this, something with ACF and custom database tables could be useful. What? What do you mean? ACF and custom database tables. Useful, yeah. I used to be the guy that was like, yeah, we're gonna create all kinds of database stuff. And I don't know if that's something I want to do. How many plugins a day? Let's look. Probably not that many. Still people down on 2 today, 9 yesterday. So I don't know. I feel like it should be higher. I don't know if it's just there's too many features or something. Or I'm not really like vlogging it too much. I mean, on my stream, everyone here. We didn't really the editor. Our block group is closer to it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So take a look at. You can take a look at how I'm doing it in there. There's some pretty. There's 2 sides to it. You have to filter two different places. You filter the query in 2 different places, one for the front end, one for the admin side. So it's going to be, where is that? That's the front end. That's going to be this one. It's going to be in here. Register post types and stuff. You're going to want to mess with that. Yeah. So have a look. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I wished. Oh yeah. What's this thing? ACF to custom database table. So I'd wonder why. Like, what's the benefit of custom database table over this? Oh, so this is interesting because you're locked into this plugin forever because it stores all its custom fields into a custom database. Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm just looking at it. Interesting. Interesting, yeah. So, I mean, it's a plugin lock-in. That my first concern with this thing would be plugin lock-in. You're not stuck with this forever. We also have a post type with a block to yeah. But I mean, that may not be a bad thing. I mean, if this is your approach to building stuff, that'd be good. Because I doubt there's probably a way to go from ACF to this one, but I doubt there'd be a way to go back, and then all your postman is locked. This is lost in a custom database. I don't know. Like, custom tables are great, but custom tables also, like, you know, hosts and stuff, probably optimizing for certain table names and things like that. I don't know. I feel whatever. I don't know. I'm being super negative about this, but whatever. We also have what's I saying? We also have a post type with a block to list people, departments, teams, etc. I have a suspicion that people will ask for more sorting options, first, last name. Yeah, totally. That's the other thing. I mean, like, what's it? Is there a, like? It's probably not on GitHub or anything anywhere. Website. And of course, there's a pro version. Yeah, it's cool. Sorry, Titus, I was in the middle of thinking something. Metacore really handy for us. Yeah, for sure. So you should be able to do all of that. Now, none of this stuff in my plugin is available on the front end, or you're talking like in the admin, right? Yeah. So you should be able to in the advanced query loop plugin. I can just kind of show you here. This is helpful, and this is not meant to be. I mean, it's a shameful. It's a shameless plug for my own wares here, but hopefully it would be helpful. Advanced query loop. So if you had like a bunch of stuff, you should be able to. Let's load up. I want advanced query loop. You should be able to come into the meta settings, and then add a meta query, and then so if the meta key is available and you start typing, I don't think I have any meta. Maybe I'll do it. I don't think so. If you have meta that's registered, it would show up here, and then you can put a value, and then you can pick a. So this is more like, you know, what am I trying to say? This is more developer-y focused because it basically just matches the stuff. But then you can order by anything in here, so it's pretty straightforward. You can pick ascending, descending. Now there is some overlay. Or not overlay. There is some sort of like duplication in the UI, which is unfortunate because I can't actually edit this, so I have to add my own. So you can query by additional post types as well, or whatever you want to do. Post per page, post offset, anyways, whatever. Post order, but you can pick all this stuff, and it'll just kind of do it the way you want it. So hopefully that'll work. Hopefully it works for you. And you can do a date relationship, build before, so this is like post publish date and stuff like that, but you can do between. Anyways, have a look, steal the code if you want, use my plugin if you want. I don't care. I would, well, I do care. I if it helps you, I care. Let's put it that way. You can add meta with footprints with the footnote, not surprise. You can add meta with a footnote. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Your reaction's the best. Laughs or cries. I don't know what to do yet. I think the footnote's a cool idea. I really do. There's a lot of publishers that want that. Yeah, a lot of publishers that would want that. I would love to be able to filter this away, filter some of these things away. Oh, the other thing too, and that another shameless plug is I figured out a way. Yeah, sure, fire a question. I figured out a way to inherit the built-in thing, but also be able to change some of this stuff. It was a bit of a hack, but it seems to work. So, Titus got a question. Another question. I love questions. Let's hear it. What you got? Look, I don't know. So we're gonna do it. You want to do a table block? Yeah. Is it the core table block? Is it possible to force tables to have a header row and kill the toggle option? Oh, this thing. Let me see something here. Kill the toggle. You're gonna have a hard time killing the toggle because it's part of the settings. But you might be able. Yeah, that's basically it. You might be able to filter the attributes. Let's look at the source for that block, and we'll see how this is put together. Let's see. So we're gonna go packages. We're gonna go to block library. We're gonna go to source. I'm gonna go to table, which starts with a T. Table. And let's look in the block JSON. So cells, content, scope align, body, foot, supports. Huh. Interesting. Has fixed layer. Was it? I wonder if you move the attribute. I don't know. It's not gonna be. I doubt it's gonna be a supports thing. It might. Doesn't look like I see anything in there that supports. So let's look at the edit, and we'll see. Create table, change set attribute has fixed on change. It's got to be table controls. Nope. Block controls, inspector controls. What is this? Header section. On change toggle header section. So where is on toggle? What? Toggle section attributes head. Okay, so let's look at source. Ah, crap. No, I want table. That's no, I want this. So block.json. So we have head. Okay. Defaults an empty array. So what? So you're going to want to filter that. There may be a block validation error. That's a good point. I don't know. So set attributes is setting this. It's taking the attributes and it's setting this. So what does toggle selection do? It's from state. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. State. Should be a toggle selection in here. This is going to be a little bit difficult. Where's toggle selection? Toggle selection. Get the length of the first row of the body when using to create the header. Insert row. Oh my God. Okay, so it takes the state. Where is it? This is complicated. Okay. I'd like to see what that's stored as. Okay, let me look at something here. It's possible. I think it's possible. I think it's going to be difficult. Let's put it that way. So if I save this, header 1, header 2. All right, if we publish this, I'm going to look at the block attributes. Can the control be filtered? Someone I know add with hooks. I don't think these ones are. But we can look. But the thing is, so you want to be able to, so there's two things that you have to do here, right? You have to be able to, what is this? This is the edit. So this is, sorry, it's down here in the, not there, inspector control. So toggle control. So no, you're not going to be able to get rid of this because that's being inserted. This is the header section. This is the footer section. So this is going to call this function that's not exported, so you can't get to it. But let's look. Let's look a bit deeper. So if we look in, so I go like this. I go wp.data.select. I want to go get blocks. Core. What is it? Post. Oh, edit post. I want to get no. Why can I never remember this? This is blocks. Get. Help me out here. Oh, I'm trying to complete blank. I want to get all the blocks. Core, what is it? Edit, post. Oh no. Oh, come on. So does this have get blocks? No, that's probably not that one. It's probably this is the thing I can never remember. I think it's probably edit block editor, get blocks. Okay, so if we call that, we should be able to see that this block here. So we look at the attributes. You could fake what you could update. You you could do something like this, right? It is, isn't it? It is. Is it? Block editor. It could. I think block editor and editor is. I think editor might be deprecated. Yeah. So deprecated. So it's the same thing. It's just been pointed to a new place. So so what you could probably do is you could filter this block and give it all this information, because if you look at the way the head, where is that? Is it in here? Yeah. So if you look at this, right, this is the default value. So what you could do is you use the edit, what is it, block, it's over here, I have to find it. You're gonna want to use some block filters, and it's gonna be, what is this, hooks, block hooks. So probably the one that you're gonna want to need is, where is it? Oh, come on, where is it? Register block type. This is the one you're probably gonna want to use, right? So yeah, you could do that. You could also use this example to change the value of that particular attribute, and then use basically, can I just copy this out? I'm gonna copy this object, copy object. What is it? Copy, there's a way of doing this and I can't remember what it is. Store, there we go. So if I go copy, I think it's temp1, and I paste that in here, you're probably gonna wanna grab, you could set the array, the default value, you could set the array to that and then just change the header to whatever you want. I don't know if it's gonna work, but that's how I would approach it. That would be my starting point, right? And if you wanna have a certain amount of fields, you could probably do the same thing. I don't know how many rows and stuff you want. Like, I don't know, you're gonna wanna, yeah, it's gonna get ugly. Get settings, got edit, yeah, maybe. It's going to be messy. I'm just going to say that. It's going to be messy. You could run into crazy block deprecation issues. You could have block validation stuff. They make a change to this and who knows what's going to happen, right? So I don't know. You may want to try the block variation approach, where you could try that. I don't know. That's very much in the weeds. It might help, it might not. I don't know. So that would be how I would approach it. I mean, whether or not it works, who knows, right? So, but this actually leads me, like, I really want to do a yeah, exactly. I really need to do some like block extension, like core block customization and extension stuff, I think. Is that like, is it safe to say the majority of folks who are watching the stream, and like there's only like 7 or 8 of us here, but like, is that the stuff that you're running into? Like, how do you extend core blocks? How do you filter core blocks? How do you deal, like, you know, if that's an issue, I think that's maybe something that we should be doing here. I have, there's an issue I have. What is it? I added this one a long time ago. So if there's stuff, it'd be cool to add this, add it here, so I can get kind of a list of like things that we should do. Setting the defaults for a core table block. I'm just gonna add that there so I don't forget it. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't type. Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, if people are running into it, then maybe we need to do some stuff, right? So yeah, anytime, Titus. Glad to help. Glad we salvaged the stream. Just kidding. All right, cool. Well, on that note, I'm gonna let everyone go. They'll be left alone, please. I don't live in O-Town, but you can buy me a pint next time I see you, or whatever, or just hang out. I get paid to do this, so you don't need to. You owe me nothing. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna let everyone go. But you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you a week from now. So, cheers. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content about Gutenberg and WordPress development.